everybody, and welcome to another Top 5 board gaming video. Today's video is all about surprises! That's right, today I'm going to be talking about games that were genuinely surprising for me. These are ones where I looked at it, read about it a little bit maybe, and just sort of thought, I wasn't really excited about it for whatever reason it happened to be, whether it was the aesthetics or the mechanics or my previous games, anything along those lines. But instead, when I played them, I was like, wow, these are really fun, these are really good games, and I'm having a great time. So I hope that you enjoy this video. You will see a fun theme running through some of these at least. As always, if you guys have not done so already, please take a look at my Facebook and my Twitter pages where I post new videos, live streams, all sorts of different stuff. I would love to have you guys there, and as always as well, please put any and all thoughts in the comments below. You guys know I love to hear from you on all of these. But with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with my number 5. At number 5, I've got a game that essentially reminded me of some really bad gaming experiences I had before. So I was like, but then after I played it, I was like, this is absolutely incredible, and I love it. The game itself is Stockpile. This is actually a game that I did a review and demo on quite a while ago, but it's a lot of fun. In this game, you are trying to earn stocks, and the stock value is somewhat randomly going up and down. You've got some insider information, all that kind of stuff. It's very much a Wall Street dynamic in the game. But the thing is that it's simplistic enough to learn quickly and to play through relatively fast as well. So in that sense, it's a very well-designed, very streamlined game, and that's really why I was surprised by it. Mostly I was worried about this because of my experiences with Acquire. You guys may remember Acquire. It's a game that I complain about a lot, mostly because of the quality of the copy that I have, at least. I love the game, but the one that I specifically have is really not very good. I'm hoping that the reprint is pretty decent. Let me see, do we have it nearby somewhere? I don't remember where I put it. But either way, Stockpile, really fun game. I was surprised by it because I hadn't had good luck with Wall Street style games, but I ended up really loving it, so it is my number 5. At number 4, I've got the first game of the sort of running theme that I have in this particular video, and this is a deck building game based off of a very popular book and movie series known as Harry Potter. In this case, this is Hogwarts Battle, and like I said, this is a deck building game that I was genuinely shocked by. The thing is that by and large, we don't expect IP games to really be that good. Sometimes we really hope that they are. We really want them to be amazing, but more often than not, they just fall flat. And with Hogwarts Battle, it's pretty much what you expect. You're playing as the major characters, you're fighting against the major characters, all that kind of stuff. The cool thing with it is that it's a co-op, it is a deck builder, and it has a decent amount of strategy in it. It feels kind of like Legendary in the way that it progresses, so I really enjoyed myself. I had a great time with it. I love Harry Potter, and I really didn't have expectations for this game. I was expecting it to be sort of like type of thing, but it ended up being surprisingly fun. I'm very happy that I ended up getting it and playing it. Hogwarts Battle, my number 4. At number 3, I've got a game that really mostly turned me off because of the aesthetics for it. I thought this game is way too cartoonish, it just looks kind of goofy, I don't think it's going to be fun, it just seems way too weird. But then I played it and I was blown away. The game is Takenoko. In Takenoko, you are trying to feed pandas a bunch of bamboo. So half of the point is that you're growing the bamboo shoots, and the other idea is that you are feeding the panda. The panda itself is really adorable, and you have a little gardener that's going around and feeding the bamboo, and you're just watering it and making it grow. You have little plastic bamboo that grows up. I saw people playing this, and I literally thought it looks like a kid's game. It's full of pastel colors and all this kind of thing, and I was just like, I don't see how I could enjoy that. But then I actually played it, and I was like, Holy friholies, this is tremendously strategic, a lot of fun. I am having a blast playing this game about feeding pandas. Who would have thought that a game about feeding pandas would be so much fun? And it really is, and again, surprisingly deep in terms of the strategy that you need going through this game. That's what was most surprising for me, is how deep it was, but still how simple to learn. So with all that, Takenoko is my number 3. At number 2, I've got a board game that is based off of one of the most popular puzzle video games, and also that is one of my personal favorites as well. The game is Portal, the Uncooperative cake acquisition game. And like all the ones on this, I was tremendously surprised by this game. It's higher up on the list because this has a lot more complexity than I thought it would. If you look at a game like Portal, the video game, the whole point is that you're solving puzzles using these portals to fly around and all this kind of stuff. And they actually got a surprising amount of that inside of the board game. They also have the competitive aspect where you're trying to outwit your opponents and like send them into the lava and their cake and all that kind of stuff. So it's just really interesting, and the best aspect about this in terms of why it was so surprising for me is the fact that I couldn't believe that they got some of the humor in it. They got some of that real, very dry GLaDOS thematic humor in this game. I didn't think that it would be possible to really translate it well into a board game, but so help me, they managed to do it. I don't know how, and I love the fact that they did. On top of that, just looking at the board itself, it's kind of weird looking, but at the same time, it has a unique perspective look to it, so it looks three-dimensional, and it looks like you're just moving through different testing rooms. So it's really cool, and they did a great job of moving Portal the video game into a board game, and like I said, I'm surprised by it, and that's why it is my number 2. At number 1, I have another video turned board game that was really surprising, more surprising than pretty much anything else because of the depth of complexity to the game and the fact that the strategy works, the movement makes sense, the movement works, the combat is fun and functional, and it's fair, and just all in all, the entire thing just comes together in such a glorious way and so much fun. The game itself is Bioshock Infinite Siege of Columbia. In this game, every player is playing as one of the major factions in Columbia that are trying to take it over. Nobody is playing as Booker, the main characters from the video game. And the thing is, as far as the video game comparison, you're not getting a lot of the video game aspects in the board game, and that's okay. I am a huge fan of Bioshock Infinite. I loved the video game, and I think one of the best decisions the designers of the board game made was to not have anybody play as Booker, because the problem is there's only one Booker. Unlike with something like Portal, where everybody, yes, has a name and a face, it's kind of irrelevant, and that's the point of the game. But that said, I really only picked this up because it was super cheap. I am very weary of buying board games based on video games, especially video games that I love, but really this particular game reminded me of some of the very in-depth, complex games that we all really love, like I mean, it's not quite on that level, but Rex, the game that is loosely based off of the Twilight Imperium world, this has some very similar, very familiar mechanics to that. Again, surprising amount of complexity with this that really works and melds very well together. And that's why it's number 1 on my list. Other games for this example that weren't really surprising would be something like Game of Thrones. You would expect Game of Thrones to be tremendously complex because of the IP it's based off of. Bioshock Infinite wasn't really expecting complexity wasn't expecting such a good, fun game. Whether or not you're familiar with the source material, this is a very good, in-depth, strategic, tactical game that uses different powers, different cards, fun movement abilities, all sorts of different stuff. If you haven't tried it, I do advise you to check it out. It's really, really good. And that is why it is my number one. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video on my top 5 favorite surprising board games. That is to say, games that I didn't really think I would enjoy, but ended up really, really loving. Now, this is a relatively large category for me. It's just a matter of how much I was surprised by them. So these are the ones I was honestly the most surprised by. Once again, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. What are the games that surprised you the most? What are the ones that, you just were, what was it about the game that made you sort of think, it's not so great? Like, again, for me, IPs are really games that I'm kind of weary of because more often than not, IP-based games are just really, really bad. So that's one of the big things for me. And then again, aesthetic, I've mentioned on several of my videos, like the Kickstarter focusing on the miniatures. That's something that I'm really weary of because I'm like, show me the gameplay. But I could be surprised. Maybe this will be a great game. But with that, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Once again, please let me know what you all think. If you haven't done so already, follow me on Facebook and Twitter so you can see all the new announcements for videos and live streams and all that good stuff. But with that, thank you very, very much, and I will see you next time.